All right, today we have Ron Green of Tribe Worldwide Apparel. I appreciate you, brother, for coming in here. This is Financial Freedom Fighters, and I really appreciate your time, man. I've been following you for some time now. We've met through some businesses throughout the Philadelphia area where we're at, and I'll count it not robbery to have you on, man. You one person that, one, I know is a fighter for us. Two, on that financial a focus and that mindset to change and to own things. So I wanted to introduce you on, has crazy clothes, man, but not only have crazy clothes, crazy designs, but it represents us and our culture, and it empowers us and it encourages us. So I thank you for that. And I just wanted to introduce you, man.
And while I appreciate that that generous introduction and all the edification, man, I have a great appreciation for people like yourself. You were doing the event space thing, long before I got in the game. You were facilitating people, facilitating people's businesses, any endeavors, parties, all these things. You're providing a safe space where people can congregate. And that was something that I was inspired by myself. So yeah, man, and here we are. So I'm glad to be able to just have this time to build with you. Any insight, I'm an open book, man. You know what I mean? So I'm glad to be here.
Beautiful, beautiful. So look, the first question I have for you is what I ask everybody when they first come on here. I'm really interested in your answer for that. What sparked your journey to become a financial freedom fighter, as I call it, to try to change that family tree or change things for our culture, not even just your personal family, just change things for our culture and be one of those trailblazers?
Ah, man. Well, it actually is. That journey started in my teenage years. My parents were very intentional about, getting me in front of information that could give me, a different outcome than they had for their lives, as it pertains to, their career path and, their financial income and, everything pertaining to that. And, they had me involved in, entrepreneur camps and things like that for youth. They made sure that I was, that I had books around me. And then, the thing that kind of brought the culture to the business is where my father, he's always been very pro-black, okay. And he raised me, to be that same way. So that's really where the business acumen and then the cultural aspect, came together for me. Now it wouldn't be until years later where I was able to actually, kind of put those two things together, in a, in like a tangible way. But, right. I had always been, in line with, the business mindset from, I'd say maybe like the age of 15, 16, around there, So, and as I got older, I learned about the concept of residual income that was very attractive to me. You know what I mean? So, and that just came from me being, being in different circles. People around me every day weren't talking like that. Right. People around me typically don't make money like that. They make money right. Trading hours for dollars. So, I wanted to, once I understood the concept of residual income, now I just had to figure out how I could create that flow for myself and, have it in a way where I could, ultimately be able to benefit others in the process, whether it's through job creation or, maybe a business partnership or whatever the case may be. However it folds out, I just wanted to be in position, where I could control my own narrative in that perspective. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. And that makes complete sense. So why did you feel like it was important? Because I know a little bit about your story, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you modeled for a while. You weren't in the fashion area. What made you take it upon yourself to say, listen, man, maybe I can make six figures with this company? You know what I mean? I have more than enough talent, skill, relationship to do it, but maybe I got to take two steps back and maybe make less even, you know what I mean? And have less marketing bucks at my dispense and all this other stuff. And for me to own, what made you take that stance, which I think is beautiful, but I wanted you to kind of explain what made you make that stance so people can understand why that's so important.
Yeah, well, I learned, I learned early on, that ownership is key in every situation. You know what I mean? And I had never been really comfortable working, for somebody else. My father, once again, his influence, even as I sit here reflecting on it, talking to you, it's like, damn, I didn't realize, how how many areas of my psyche, like, his ideologies had infiltrated. But it's like,
Right.
my dad never ever, like, he didn't even like to call, his superior, like, boss. He didn't like that word. Like, he don't like calling another man his boss. He like, if anybody gonna be the boss over me, it's gonna be me. Like, I don't fuck with that. So excuse me, I don't like this.
No, you can do that all here.
Yeah, all right, cool. So he's like, so that like really sunk in for me. When I hear him talk, he's like, man, ain't nobody the boss of me.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so like that type of that vibe, that energy, was like ingrained in me from an early age. So I kind of carried that into my adulthood. And it's like when the opportunity came for me, it was after I had quit my job working with this model and talent search agency, and I really, that was like the last straw for me. The way I felt like they treated me, I felt like they didn't value me, and they didn't value my input, and the fact that I'm sacrificing time with my family to travel and work for y'all. I'm working for this company, helping them build their dreams and build their success story. Because the thing is, when they write their book about their lives, they're not gonna have Ron Green in there. They're gonna be talking about all their, what I mean? So I'm like, damn, I'm up here sewing into what y'all want to see. But it's like, what about my vision? What about the things that, I care about? So once I decided to quit, that was like actually the first job I ever quit. And that was the last job I ever had.
Right.
Yeah, but like it was like, yo, I'm done. And I didn't know what I was going to do when I quit, but I knew that I didn't want to work for nobody else. So it's like I had to, I had to humble myself. I had to move back in the house with my parents. I had to like really buckling down and figuring out who I am, separate from everybody else's advice and insights and their job descriptions. You know what I mean?
Expectations of you. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Who am I? Like, to me, and who do I want to be to everyone else? So like I really I took a few years to like recalibrate and everything, and just got myself involved in different business opportunities. But it's like ultimately I knew that I had to create something for myself, and it just came naturally. You know what I mean? Where now I saw an opportunity to get started and I jumped on it, and I learned in business that people who are successful, like they hop on opportunities. Like, you don't wait. And literally, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you if I had waited till the next day to start my fashion brand, because there were literally other people trying to make what I was making at the same time. It was like a race. Like I don't even like it's a whole story in that in itself, like as to how the came to be. So it's like I had to really, like attack it. You know what I mean? I had to really be intentional. So that's what I've learned, is that if you study long, you study wrong. So, I'm here because I took advantage of an opportunity and struck while the iron was hot.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense, man. Like everything you're saying, you dropped actually a lot of jewels in that narrative that you just created. I mean, literally, I'm trying to touch base on everything you said, because one, that's a huge for us as entrepreneurs that we don't want to do, and even especially as Black people. I mean, I feel like every human being struggles with this to get past it, but scaling back. You know what I mean? Like scaling back. Like we always talk about, we want to scale our business forward, of course, but what about our personal life, scaling back? Like a lot of times, especially coming out of adolescent ages and having lack of, as soon as we get a little money, we do, right? We get things, we experiment with things, we try different things. We want to drive in this car, we want to do that, we want to dress like this. And then we realize to obtain our dreams and the goals that we really have, and then really start focusing on our last name, we can't be moving around like that. It's not high school no more, right? We can't worry about what people see us have on every single day. We can't worry about a lot of things that we were worrying about as adolescents. So you said a lot in that, and then also just how much of an impact that your father had on you. That's very powerful. Like the fact that the strength of him, and even you say you never said they said become financially free or own your own, but it was just the way he moved.
Yeah.
Like my mom was similar in that way, whereas though she don't get why I'm an entrepreneur, like I'm a serial entrepreneur, and she just wants me to be stable and have a job. That's all she ever wanted. And I was like, she's like, why are you like that? I said, you one of the biggest reasons. She's like, what? I said, I seen you every day come from. She was a caseworker for welfare, right? So dealt with everybody on welfare, dealing with them. She worked out in Chester. So she was like, I said, every day you made ends meet and you put a roof over her head, but you couldn't stand your job. I heard you complaining. I can't stand this person. They treat me like this. I said, so that's all I heard. I know that you put a roof over my head. I know that I didn't want for too much. But at the same time, I saw how you acted every day, and I didn't want that. I didn't want to go somewhere and be unhappy for the rest of my life. And those other factors in that, but that's one way that she, not verbally, kind of made me, inspired me to be like, what? She finished college 4 years. And she's like, why wouldn't you want to be? I'm like, I don't see you being happy from the choices you make. Now you are able to keep a roof over my head. So I had to figure that out, how to keep a roof over my head, but I want to do something I love. So I love that your father had that influence on you, man.
Yeah, really, man. Yeah, my dad, he was instrumental in instilling that mindset. And then my mother, she was the one who made sure that I got to all of the the different outlets and the different opportunities and the classes and the entrepreneur camps, and she was the one that made sure like facilitated that growth. My father like was really inspiring, and planting that seed, in his own way. You know what I mean? It was like, yeah, and I really, I can see the value, you know what I'm saying, in the in the family structure in general, you know what I'm saying? But like really the level of influence that parenting has on the children and like their long-term outcomes, man. It's like you can't put a price on that. Like you can't quantify that because you don't know what somebody's potential is. Like that's why you gotta like, just give, that's why like I know when I have my children, I want to be able to just give them what they need to like explore their options. You know what I mean? Instead of tell them who they should be and how they should be, it's like, just kind of make sure that they have access so they can figure it out for themselves.
Absolutely. And you said a powerful word, options. Our objective is from us being here prior to them, just like our ancestors, is to give them more options. A lot of people kind of get that messed up. They feel like it's either from our ancestors, we're supposed to do the exact same thing. We're not. We're actually supposed to be doing the next thing. But their objective is to push us there so we can do the next thing. So, for example, even when I go back and forth with some seniors, it's like, y'all should be in college. No, y'all fought. Y'all went through college. Y'all went through all those things. Now we about to own some colleges. We about to create our own colleges. So y'all got to understand that y'all passed the baton forward. We're not going to do exactly what you did, but our objective and our job is to keep on pushing it forward. And the people after us, they're not going to do what we did. You get what I'm saying? But we've given them that stepping stone. There's no Obama without Martin Luther King, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So we're not going to do the same thing, but we putting it out there. So the question I have for you, man, next is, one, it's a two-part question. How long has your business been around? And through the time that it's been around, what is the biggest success you had, and what was probably the biggest letdown you had?
All right, so we got started January 31st of 2015. That is when my brand was established. Where that was the first time the first day I sold the first shirt. You know what I mean? Like the first day that the first ad went up, like that was it, January 31st, 2015. Since then we've had a lot of we've been fortunate, man, to be in position to have a lot of monumental moments.
Right. I know some, but
so it's kind of hard, difficult to isolate. All right, so I mean, now that like as I'm talking, a moment that really pops out to me was when I had the honor and the distinct privilege of gifting one of my shirts to Dick Gregory.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Like put it right in his hand, like hands in hand, like he looked at it, he liked it. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like
dope.
yeah, like and I was like, I'm grateful that I got the moment like recorded. You know what I'm saying? So I have record of that. Like I ain't capping. Yeah, you
Comedian
know what I'm
and
saying. But
civil
so
rights
that
legend.
yeah, so
Wow,
that was big for me. That was
that's,
major. You know what I'm saying?
that's huge.
Yeah,
That would be big to me. He's
yeah,
huge in our culture. If people don't know who Big Gregory is, look him up. Like
yeah,
not just the comedy, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Because he could have been as big as Bill Cosby, but he was political.
yeah, yep.
If y'all dig that. So look him up. Understand what this man's about. The fast that he did, all that stuff. So I think that was amazing, bro. That was amazing.
Yeah, bro.
So what would you say would be the biggest letdown, or even not even letdown? Let's say lesson, right?
Okay, yeah. Well, I guess the biggest lesson for me that's I got that right here. 2 years ago, since 2019. Now I've been getting my since I started in 2015. My most popular shirt to date has been a shirt that says "Hella Black, Hella Proud" on it, and it has a
Right.
black power fist on the sleeve. When I created that shirt in 2015, I was actually anxious and nervous about bringing it out. I didn't think that I don't know. Like at that time, we weren't where we are now as like
Right.
as a whole, like where people's mentality, like it's more people that are pro-black now. It's people
Right.
that like unapologetically speaking out about these issues and things like that. It's all that element's always been present,
Right.
but it wasn't mainstream. You know what I mean? And
Right.
right now, it's like things are, the Black Power movement, Black Lives Matter, all this stuff like that, getting wrapped up in this vibe and just pushed out through the media, and then through social media and all the stuff like that. So
It's pop culture now, so to speak.
yeah, it's pop
It's
culture,
trending. Yeah.
exactly. So it's like, when I first started it, even though I was learning about business and everything, I still didn't have the presence of mind to get a trademark. I didn't
Right.
have a presence of mind back then to get a trade. I wasn't even sure if I was going to drop that shirt. Like I just didn't know if people was ready for that level of Black power. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
Right.
to wear that. Like you got a shirt that say "Hella Black, Hella Proud" with a black fist on it. People gonna know who you are and what you stand for as soon as they see you.
Absolutely.
But the thing is, I know it's a lot of us who ain't necessarily comfortable moving like that. With all that being said, you know, uh, that is what set me up for what occurred in 2019. Me not getting my trademark when I first started led to, in 2019, there were countless vendors on Amazon.com, not to give them any advertising dollars, but I mean,
Right.
on Amazon, there are countless vendors who were bootlegging my design.
Wow.
Like, I'm talking, you could go on there, type in "Hella Black, Hella Proud," and it would be like, you could just scroll and there's
Wow.
all these different variations of it. It's all these, like, some people use my exact layout, my exact font style. Like, other people got a little creative with it, did their own thing, but like,
Right.
I didn't take ownership of it when I needed to.
Right. And that was your intellectual property right there.
Exactly. Like I went on my laptop on my little program and I created that layout. Like I sat there, I was intentional. I went and because I was studying, looking at the Black Panthers and how they were able to do what they do, how they run their propaganda, and they had the newspaper that they were putting out, and the artwork that was in there, some of the artwork included that black fist. So I wanted to pull from the past and bring that forward. So that's why that fist is on every shirt. That's from the Black Panthers. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. All of that thought like goes into it. These people who are bootlegging it, they're just trying to make $1. You know what I mean? But it's like so I learned a very, very, very expensive lesson. Very expensive lesson, a couple years ago. So yeah, I'm still pushing forward. but yeah, things is I definitely learned my lesson. Hmm. There's a whole lot going on that year. There's a whole lot going on that year. 2019 was still a good year though. That's the interesting part. It's like even though I got super bootlegged, like 2019 was still a great time for me as a business owner, just because the level of notoriety that I got, that I received, for the brand, because yeah, we got bootlegs and there were hundreds of vendors that were selling my stuff, but we live in a social media age, and the beautiful part about social media and the way that it was flowing, especially at that time, was that memes can say a whole lot for you, where and they can stand in the place of an entire write-up or a complete article or something like that. These memes, like they say, pictures tell it, say 1,000 words. A picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, definitely, the photos, I mean, the memes and things like that. They helped me to be able to tell my story when that occurred. There was news publications that picked up on the story, and how they're saying, that these companies are bootlegging this black-owned brand. These companies, it got so bad. It got to the point where I'm gonna just show y'all. Let me see if I can get back to it, because man, there was so many opportunities for us to promote ourselves based on the fact that these people took it upon themselves to recreate, refabricate our designs. You know what I mean? So they, inadvertently, they, and now granted, it was up to me to pivot and to be able to not get caught up in my emotions too much, keep a clear head about things, and really capitalize on the moment. So that is exactly what we did with the brand, is we took that opportunity to promote ourselves. It's like, hey, there's a lot of fakes out here, but you come to